Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video we will see the ureters. Ureters are an important practical oriented topic. Usually it is very important for the surgeries in the abdomen and in the pelvis. So we will try to cover the ureters in detail in this class. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe now. Keep watching the videos. This three-dimensional model with these ureters we will try to explain in a detailed way. Try to see till the relations of all the parts of the ureter. Now we will start. Before we start with the ureters, in the previous video we have covered the kidneys. In that anterior relations we have covered with that model. In this you can appreciate the posterior relations of the kidneys on both sides. Upper part it is related to the diaphragm. Lower part it is related to the two muscles it is given. That is the posterior abdominal wall muscles. Lower part it is related to the psoas major and quadratus lumborum. So these are the important posterior relations for the two kidneys. So with that we will start with the ureters. Ureters you are seeing in this model like with white tube-like structures on both sides from the kidneys. They are a pair of thick-walled cylindrical tube which convey urine from the corresponding kidney to the urinary bladder. So you are seeing the urinary bladder in the pelvis. Each ureter is about 25 centimeter long. So the length of the ureter is 25 centimeter and 3 millimeter in average diameter. It consists of three parts. Pelvis of the ureter. So this starting from the kidney, the dilated part is called pelvis of the ureter. Next part is the abdominal part of the ureter. And the third part is which is in the pelvis is the pelvic part of the ureter. So there are three parts of the ureter. We will see the parts one by one. Pelvis of the ureter, it is a funnel shaped dilatation of the upper part of the ureter and it is formed within the sinus, renal sinus by the union of the major calyces. The pelvis passes downwards and medially through the hilum. In front it is related to the renal artery and the renal vein and is continuous with the abdominal part of the ureter at the lower end of the corresponding kidney. So up to that it is called pelvis of the ureter. Capacity of the pelvis is about 5 to 7 ml. So we have completed the pelvis of the ureter, that is the first part. We will see the next part, that is the abdominal part. Abdominal part of the ureter. It passes downwards and medially. You are seeing this is the abdominal part of the ureter, passes downwards and medially. Behind the peritoneum of posterior abdominal wall, so it is in the posterior abdominal wall it is running. By crossing and enters the pelvic cavity, so this part is running downwards and medially. So when it enters the pelvic cavity, Yes, it is entering the pelvic cavity by crossing the bifurcation of common iliac artery. So this is the common iliac artery. So bifurcation, by crossing the bifurcation of common iliac artery or the beginning of external iliac artery. So it is crossing and entering the pelvis and it is continuous with the pelvic part of the ureter. This part of the ureter is as if in the posterior abdominal wall plastered to the parietal peritoneum. So that is the abdominal part of the ureter course. Now we will see the relations of this abdominal part of the ureter. So this is the abdominal part of the ureter. Behind psoas major and its corresponding covering fascia, that is the psoas fascia. Genitofemoral nerve which is piercing the this is the genitofemoral nerve which is piercing the psoas major muscle. Tips of transverse process of all the lumbar vertebra. So these are the behind relations. Psoas major, genitofemoral nerve, it is passing in front of the tips of that is the origin of psoas major muscles. So that is running in front of the tips of the transverse process of all lumbar vertebra separated by the psoas major. In front, relations are slightly different for two ureters, right side and left side. First we will see the right side relations. In front, parietal peritoneum, right gonadal vessels. So you are seeing the right gonadal vessels in front crossing the abdominal part of the ureter. Second and third parts of the duodenum, which is removed here. Right colic vessels and ileocolic branches of superior mesenteric vessels. So they will also cross this right ureter, root of the mesentery and terminal part of the ileum, which is not shown here, which will join the cecum. So that is, they are all the front relations of the right ureter. Left ureter, so this is the left ureter. Left gonadal vessels, they are passing in front of the left ureter, parietal peritoneum. Left colic and sigmoid branches of inferior mesenteric vessels. So they are given, inferior mesenteric vessels are given. So left colic branches will be crossing to reach the descending colon and the sigmoid colon. So you are seeing descending colon and sigmoid colon. Here is the inferior mesenteric vessels. So these branches from these inferior mesenteric vessels will cross the cross the abdominal part of the ureter to reach the colon. And this sigmoid colon, yes, this is the sigmoid colon, which will have the sigmoid mesocolon V-shaped. So the apex of the inverted V-shaped will be in front of the left ureter. That is very important in the surgeries. Here the ureter is related exactly at the apex of the inverted V-shaped attachment of sigmoid mesocolon. The surgeon should be careful in identifying the left ureter at the place. So these are the relations of the abdominal part of the ureter, behind and in front we have covered in detail. Now the pelvic part of the ureter. So we will start the pelvic part. So this is the pelvic part after the bifurcation of common iliac artery. Yes, we will keep like this. At first the ureter passes downwards beneath the peritoneum of the lateral pelvic wall. So it is running downwards, so you can see first. Along the anterior margin of greater sciatic notch and reaches the level of the ischial spine. This is known as the first or vertical part of the ureter. In the pelvic part, this is the first part or vertical part of the ureter. Then, so this is the vertical part of the ureter, pelvic part of the ureter. So up to this. Then the second part you are seeing, yes, this is the second part. From the ischial spine, the ureter passes forwards and medially through the extraperitoneal tissue above the levator ani muscle. So that is the pelvic diaphragm. You are seeing the pelvic diaphragm at the pelvic outlet. So it is running over that, above the levator ani muscle. So it is running forwards and medially, reaches the superolateral angle of the base of the urinary bladder at a distance of about 5 centimeter from the opposite ureter. So this is the opposite ureter. The distance between them is 5 centimeter. This is known as the second or oblique part of the pelvic part. So running above the levator ani is the second or oblique part of the ureter. Finally, the ureter pierces the musculature of the bladder, undergoes an oblique submucosal course downwards and medially through the bladder wall and opens into the interior of the later. So this is known as the, so you can appreciate the trigone in this interior. So that that is the opening at the ureter at the angles of the trigone. So running to reach that submucosal, this is known as third or intravesical part of the ureter, which is about 2 centimeter long. The ureteric openings are about 2.5 centimeter apart when the bladder is empty. So now we will see the relations of this pelvic part. First part of the pelvic part, that is the vertical part. In front, covered with peritoneum. Here in female, it is related to the posterior boundary of ovarian fossa, and it is related to the ovary and uterine tube in female. Behind, you can see internal iliac artery and internal iliac vein, which are here divided. So they will be the behind relations. So internal iliac artery, internal iliac vein, lumbosacral trunk, and sacroiliac joint. So the behind relations are very nicely seen in this vertical part. Medially covered with peritoneum. Laterally, from above downwards, obliterated umbilical artery, obturator nerve and vessels, which will be related to the ovarian fossa. Inferior vesical artery, middle rectal artery, and in female uterine and vaginal arteries. They will be the branches of internal iliac vessels. So they will be the lateral relations. Obturator artery, inferior vesical, middle rectal, in female uterine. So they will be the lateral relations. The internal iliac arteries are given, but the branches are not given. Now the second part of the ureter. Second part of the pelvic part, that is, this is oblique part. So below, and in male and female, the relations are slightly different. In male, below and laterally, levator ani muscle you are seeing, and it's covering fascia. Above and medially covered by peritoneum. At the lateral angle of the base of the bladder, you are seeing crossed by the vas deferens. Below, you are seeing the seminal vesicle. So seminal vesicle is shown here. So that is the below upper end of the seminal vesicle. In female, lower attached margin of the broad ligament of the uterus, they are the above relations, and uterine artery. Below, Maconrad's ligament, lateral fornix of vagina, and levator ani muscle. So in male, only levator ani muscle below. Here, Maconrad's ligament and lateral fornix of vagina. Medially, supravaginal part of the cervix, which lies about 2 centimeter medially. Laterally, uterine artery before it crosses the ureter. Third part. So third part is running inside the urinary bladder. Its course is represented in the interior of the bladder by a ureteric fold of mucous membrane, which extends upward and laterally from the corresponding ureteric orifice. Factors preventing the reflux of urine from the bladder to the ureters. Oblique direction of the intravesical part of the ureter. So that is the one factor which prevents the urine again from entering the ureter from the urinary bladder. That is the oblique intravesical part of the ureter. That is very important. Obliquity of the ureter is maintained by the contraction of the trigonal muscle, which acts from the posterior wall of the proximal urethra. Peristalsis of the ureteral muscles passes downwards at the rate of 2 to 5 times per minute. Urine is collected into the bladder in jets, not by continuous drops. Normally, the luminal pressure of the upper ureter is about 15 centimeter of water. That of the lower ureter is 30 centimeter. Whereas the intravesical pressure of up to a capacity of 400 ml of urine is only 10 centimeter. So the urine from the lower part of the ureter is collected into the bladder according to the pressure gradients. So that is the factors which prevent the urine entering from the bladder into the ureter. Then there are constriction, and there are 3 constrictions of the ureter. They are developmental rather than mechanical. Because when the ureter is formed, they presents 2 fusiform diverticulums dilatations in embryonic life, pelvic and lumbar. Later, the enlargements cannot be seen externally, but their ends persist as three constrictions. Where are the three constrictions? One is at the pelvis of ureter and the abdominal part of the ureter joining, that is the pelviureteric junction, which corresponds to the lower pole of the kidney. At the pelvic brim, where it crosses the bifurcation of common iliac artery. At the point where it pierces the urinary bladder. At the point where it pierces the urinary bladder, again that is another constriction. So these are the three constrictions usually present in the ureter. Arterial supply. Ureter is supplied by the branches of the following arteries from, you can understand from above downwards: renal, gonadal, lumbar, common and internal iliac, inferior vesicle, and in female by the uterine and the vaginal arteries. Veins correspond to the arteries and drain into the vena cava systems. Lymphatic drainage from the upper part of the ureter to the para-aortic lymph nodes. So in the middle part, common iliac lymph nodes. In the lower part, internal and external iliac lymph nodes corresponding to the arterial supply. Development of the urinary bladder we have covered in detail in the embryology class, embryology video. You go through that systemic embryology playlist, development of the kidneys and ureter and urinary bladder. Now we will come to the applied anatomy. During hysterectomy or surgical removal of the uterus, the ureter may be involved in the following danger points. During ligation of the ovarian vessels in the infundibulopelvic ligament, at the crossing of the ureter and uterine artery by the side of the cervix. Usually the left ureter is more likely to be damaged due to the close approximation with the levo-rotator cervix. So the ureter, so left ureter is usually damaged in hysterectomy. Even in the root of sigmoid mesocolon, the surgeon should be careful. Whenever the ureter is cut accidentally at a lower level, attempts should be made to transplant the ureter into the bladder by the surgeons. When cut at a higher level, it should be anastomosed, uretero-ureteric anastomosis. If this is not possible, the ureter may be transplanted into the ileum or sigmoid colon. Whatever may be, if there is a cut in the ureter, danger of stricture formation is there. So we have completed the ureter in very detail. It is a slightly difficult topic unless like this 3D model. We can't explain the ureter with the other pictures, and it is not so easy to understand. All the three parts and its course I have explained in very detail, and I am very much satisfied with this ureter details with this model. I hope you should have understood better. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe now so that you will get the notifications of the continuation of the next class. Press the like button and share button of the video. Thank you.